Okay, I think we should start. Hello, guys, and welcome everyone to our webinar today. And today we will talk about amazing topics, which is what are we expecting to change in mobile user acquisition in 2024. And of course, we have our amazing panelists today that will share their personal experience and then their perspective in this topic. And well, since I'm the moderator of this session, I will start to introduce myself. Let me share my screen. Okay. Okay. My name is Julio. I'm from Dream Studio. In short, Dream Studio is a mobile game developer based on Indonesia. We are focusing on creating hit idle RPG games. Okay, now let's go to our next panelist. The first panelist is Carol. Carol is a marketing director at Potato Play, and Potato Play is a publisher based on Singapore. You guys can check their successful merge game in their store, and if you guys need a publishing partner, maybe you can visit the link. And the second panelist is Wilson. Wilson is Senior Business Development Manager at Social Beta. As we know, Social Beta is a marketing intelligent platform, and this is a very powerful platform. You guys should check it out. And the next panelist is Damien, and Damien is an international growth executive at AppTwig, and AppTwig is a mobile apps analytics and also app store optimization platform. I believe you guys don't want to miss this platform. Go ahead and check the link. And then the next is Joseph. Joseph is the director of machine learning product at Personal.ly. And Personal.ly is a platform that focus on providing the solution for the monetization and user acquisition for the mobile app developer. That's a very powerful platform too. Guys, go ahead and check it. The last but not least is Romy. Romy is the senior sales manager at Serit, and Serit is an apps that have us have the user to share their data, like video, audio, and more data type across the different platform, guys. And that's very cool apps. Go ahead and check it. Okay. Well, we start our agenda today. Like we start from two general question that will be answered by our panelists, and then we will move to the specific one, and then at the end of the webinar, if we have enough time, we will try to answer the question of the audience. So the audience don't hesitate to put your question into the chat. And yeah, that's it. So to start the webinar, yeah, I will start from the state of 2023 mobile gaming industry or mobile gaming ecosystem. Maybe this question I will address to Carol. Carol, how do you see in the future the adoption of emerging technology such as AI and machine learning impacting the mobile user acquisition strategy in 2024? Okay, Carol.
Okay, thanks, Julio, for the introduction and for the question. So yeah, the gaming ecosystem, we know it's becoming more and more competitive year after year, and it's getting harder for smaller players to break through, especially with the limitations on tracking, right? That makes discovery harder for smaller players. So I think emerging technologies. I mean, we say emerging. I think AI is just like the next step when it comes to machine learning and automation. Um, the adoption of these technologies will definitely even out, or at least help the smaller players or the smaller teams with less resources to even out the playing field for them. um, for creatives, right? That's the most obvious space for AI to be adopted. So we already have big ad platforms like Facebook and Google starting to work on tools that integrate AI for creatives. And I think as those big players start integrating AI into their platforms, then adoption will definitely be more widespread for all advertisers. So at Potato Play, for instance, we use AI a lot in the research and concepting phase, where it's easier for us when we do brainstorming sessions, right? For creatives, for creative or even game concepts, it's easier for us to visualize ideas, and it really enriches our brainstorming sessions and make the whole process more efficient and faster. So yeah, I think I'm really excited about this next development, and I hope that everyone can start right away experimenting with it and increase adoption in their own teams.
Wow, cool. Thank you, Carol, for your insightful sharing. And that show that you guys already adopt the technology very well. And okay, next I want to see this perspective from Wilson. Yeah, maybe Wilson can. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, from my perspective, we all know that AI has taken the business world by storm, right? Everybody's using AI. Even in social beta, we have our AI as well, in order to like set drawings or maybe generate subtitles, something like that. Even for user acquisition strategies, we are know like tools for like chatbot or visual assistants, yeah, make it easier for business to interact with customers in real time. Yeah. The idea for AI is like to reduce the consuming like time consuming tasks, like you build and automate repetitive stuff. Provide insights could be one of the feature of SI juga. FI as well to like get connected with audience, drive conversions, and you can transfer your business interests with customers, of course. Getting valuable insight like customer behaviors and their preferences and transfer it to and adjust to your future marketing campaigns. It will help a lot there by using AI. Even you can predict like which customer are the most likely to respond, and it will all be learned leading to conversion. So yeah, with AI we will have like a competitive advantage in the marketplace. We will optimize marketing efforts and provide experience. So it can like grow your drive growth for your business and get success in the world of customer acquisition things. Yeah, that's from my side, Julia.
Wow, cool. Thank you for sharing, Wilson.
Mm.
Okay, let's move to Damien. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Julio. I think here a lot of things have already been said, and of course, when it comes to the adoption of emerging technologies, we're mainly talking about the emergence of AI and in particular generative AI. And I think that for gaming studios, it will be, of course, a huge gain of time, but mostly in the production side of their game and their ability to test different gaming scenario and different hypotheses, and also test those hypotheses faster. So just for instance, producing game faster than before. And actually, this is absolutely great because they can allocate more time on thinking more about the strategic concerns than before. So there's really a shift of time on that side. And I think that for the marketers, the impact will be a bit similar, that they're going to be able to produce UA content faster than before, to test the content faster, but also to spend more time on strategizing their game to reach a certain product fit. And then once the product fit is met, actually use this AI to accelerate faster than before and grow the games. However, maybe don't necessarily be obsessed with the short-run opportunity to leverage AI and think that you can create games as rapidly as you would market them. So you really need to balance. You can create game faster, but you cannot maybe market them faster as well.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Damien. Okay, now I want to see the opinion from Joseph.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So yeah, being one of the last ones to answer is always fun because a lot of the stuff you wanted to say, people already said. But obviously, production costs and the production quality that smaller studios and even bigger studios can churn out faster is definitely going to impact everything and just increase the competition. And not to purposely purposefully directly contradict what you said, Carol, this actually makes the competition even more fierce. And the smaller players have bigger challenges. So the way I see it, and as a DSP running UA and retargeting, we do work with smaller teams as well. And we do see the smaller teams that are agile adapt machine learning and especially generative AI. When it comes mostly, it's not really generative, it's like the language-based models. They use it for a lot of things. So with GPT today, you can analyze your UA, you can understand how UA works. If you, let's say you're a marketing person that didn't do this on mobile before. So a smaller team can do a lot more and can play around with a lot more options. The only thing you have to be careful about when it comes to UA, if you're not experienced, is fraud, which unfortunately is still a huge reality in our ecosystem, even in 2023. So I believe that when people understand that they can use it for a lot more things that they might think they can, because really all the marketers go directly to generative AI and just building, more creatives and more variation. In the age where, privacy is becoming more prominent, then you can just stop there. Obviously, creative variety will help, but you need to leverage these tools to try and stand out. It can let the smaller studios that actually generate good quality games and don't just churn them out like crazy, like we had with, with hyper casual. Actually, build good mechanics and wrap them up nicer and faster and ship stuff that are actually higher quality. So I do see smaller teams fighting and having more tools, but as you know, the industry keeps growing, you still have the big guys leading the charge. We had this huge, the market had this huge success with Monopoly Go now, which, broke records this past year. So it's tough to compete with that, backed by millions and millions of dollars in UA, but ML gives you a fighting chance. That's the way I see it.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Joseph. Okay, now let's move to Romy. Yeah.
Okay, I'm the last panelist. Yeah, this is really hard because I've been covered for the last four panelists. So, but I'm trying to answer, right? So will be a bit, a bit moved from specifically for mobile gaming. But I think, I would like to see this AI and machine learning in terms of advertising. Okay, I think one keyword to highlight is about hyper personalization. This is what AI and machine learning can have. So what I mean by that is, because right now we collect a lot of data, right? Data is a new oil in the market, right? And this data now been already collected by a lot of data management platform or DMP, where a business like Share, like Personal AI, it can be utilized the data, to put and serve an ads to a user at a very contextual way. What I mean by that, right? Let me put example. Yeah, I will take example for e-commerce or shopping app, right? So we would like to show an ads for a backpack, right? And then it will be female and male. It has to be different in terms of color, in terms of the style, right? By having machine learning and AI, and with a lot of data that we currently have, we can have two things. One is product tagging, right? And secondly, user tagging, and combine these two to make a very contextual ads. So, for example, right, for a fashion. So when we see a fashion, let's say, cloth into a woman and versus a man, that will be different. And if it is a student or a professional like us, it will be different, right? So that's what I mean by this AI and machine learning. We can definitely do that. So and then, so when an ad served, let's say, to Carol here, and it will able to define to who, where, when, and what price the ads will be shown to Carol. That's the things that can increase the conversion rate from user see or impressed by the ads until user taking action that advertisers want. Yeah, that will be it from my side, Julio.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Romy, for your insightful sharing. And if I can conclude that as you know, if adoption of new technology always become the disruption of the industry, right? But if I can see from you guys this very positive vibes, like everyone is excited about this adoption, and I believe this will be push our industry to the next level, I think. Okay, so let's start with the next question. And because we already talked about user acquisition, and yeah, given the Apple deprecation of IDFA, and we can see that it is getting harder to target the high quality user, right? So what do you see as a primary challenges in mobile games user acquisition? I think I will give to Joseph first to answer this question.
Yeah, so thank you. So we've been working with these challenges as soon as, Scan and ATT was first announced. We've been thinking of a way to, not rely on the user level when we're building these classification models, trying to predict, who's going to be a whale. And obviously, when you don't know a lot more than the device model and the publisher app they're in right now, then yeah, it becomes tougher. But the challenge was trying to build this contextual relationship between the publisher app and the advertiser app with machine learning. We did that years ago. You can take the text the same way that things like GPT takes text and understand their context, and then you can vectorize it and measure context between the app you're promoting and the app you're advertising. You can build this representation that is much stronger than categories, because categories are always manipulated by evil ASO people. So you can have solutions for that. Machine learning can help with that. And obviously, it can also help with the creative variety and trying to create this sort of lower level of localization and personalization, because you don't know a lot about the user, but the context that is in can be connected to the ad that you're showing. So machine learning can help with that. But the most important thing that we saw happening, and will probably happen the same way as soon as the sandbox comes in, when the signal decreases, and it decreases for everyone, including the social networks, then the prices decrease. Because what happened on iOS the day Scan released, right? Demand went down the drain, and supply stayed the same. So prices decreased by 5 times to get a video interstitial in iOS as soon as it started for no device IDs. And the IPMs and all the conversion rates did the same thing. So you kind of stayed with the same thing, just with a different package, right? So whoever can still leverage the little signal that exists, and that at this point I believe can only be done with machine learning and by analyzing texts, because that's what you have, text and pictures, because you can also take the creative assets from the store and understand the context of the app better. That way you can have slightly better classification. So for example, with Android on the sandbox, you're going to have this topics API that basically tells you what the user is into in general, in very broad terms. So as soon as you can take that small signal and enhance it, you can still run pretty much the same thing. It's just a different balance. You have more volume of installs, the same ROAS eventually. Attribution still works. With Android, attribution is going to be much closer to what it is today. That's at least what they're saying. So, you know how this industry works. We roll with the punches. One day, before mobile, Google wakes up and Chrome kills, 20% of everyone's business. The same thing is here with Apple and everything, but we have to keep adapting and figuring it out. And as we said in the last question, machine learning only helps us doing that.
Well, okay. Thank you, Joseph, for your insightful sharing. And okay, let's move to Carol for this question. Yeah. Okay, sorry, Carol, you still muted.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for this point, I'm also going to bounce on something that Joseph said earlier, right? The how the discrepancy between the smaller player and the bigger ones, right? And I think that's where the deprecation of IDFA and generally having less signals around the space also really affected the smaller players, because for the bigger ones who are still able to acquire a lot of volume and who also have a lot of first party data, they were able to adapt better to having lower signals, but still having a big enough amount that they are able to adapt by using machine learning, by adapting their models to compare with the smaller amount of signals they were receiving. So definitely this has increased the gap between all the big all the big players, and especially the ones that have control over different parts of acquisition, monetization, and publishing. Definitely has increased the challenge for the smaller players. One point I also want to touch on is regarding in general ads and games. There is a convergence where the hyper casual games are going more core, going more hybrid casual, and then the more hardcore games are going more hyper casual in order to reach. Everyone is basically trying to compensate for the difficulty of targeting a niche audience by targeting a wider audience, whether by expanding their audience or improving their monetization by going more core. So there is a lot more confusion on for the player, because we all use a lot of fake ads. We all use different mechanics in our games that makes it harder for the player to navigate the space and understand what product they are actually playing. So I think one of the interesting challenge is going to be able for publishers and developers to have a product that is still unique, still has their own qualities, while addressing the widest audience possible, and then still being able to convey their unique qualities to the audience that is struggling to navigate the space as well.
Okay, thank you, Carol, for your sharing. And then let's move to the Romy. Yeah, Romy, what's your perspective about?
Sure. Regarding about Apple's depreciation of IDFA, right? So I think I'm going to have a very short answer to this, because this is exactly the antithesis of what I was answered for the first questions, right? Because with this limitation, which means we have a very limited data that can be captured from a user, right? Which means when we're talking about would like to have a very hyper personalization of an ads is very hard for we do on iOS. However, as Joseph mentioned, still with some signals that we can get from text, image, and everything from a user in an iPhone or an iOS, we still can have a proxy to have a personalization. But again, it will be a very not really as good as when we serve a user on Android or Google Advertising ID, right? Because of these limitations. And yes, correct, as Carol mentioned, the gap who have more money, versus the one that just entered the market, that very huge gap there, especially when as mobile advertisers, mobile gaming advertisers, they would enter a new targeting for, let's say for example casual gamer, right, that already owned by the other big players, and then this guy just coming in as a new player. With this limitation, it's very hard to get and targeted a very high quality user at a very short time, which is different when we're talking about targeting a user on Android. So the last point to close this from my side, Julio, very less data to capture, which is we don't have a reach of data. That impact cannot have a very good conversion when we're running a campaign, except the solution from Apple itself, which is Apple Search Ads. Yeah, that's it from me.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Romy, for the sharing. Okay, let's move to Wilson. Yeah, how's your opinion for this?
All right, cool. So yeah, actually, yeah, it's already been covered by everyone, but let's talk about in social meta perspective. Yeah, the social meta perspective is like for app intelligence platform, right? So the challenges that we're gonna face in mobile game user acquisition will be like to know how to capture an audience, like with your marketing and advertising efforts for your game growth, right? So I believe the key is to build a winning creative, because without like a winning creative, we cannot be able to scale our games to the height they need to reach. Or you even need to focus on getting your idea and concept, stay engaged with the market, and you will need to do a lot of research, even though the data is limited. Yeah, actually, there's three things that have crucial role for this. First is your creative team itself, the specialist one in terms of making creative. Then the money, like funds, to make your operations run smooth. Yeah, and you will need to get connected with third-party technology tools, for example, AI or app intelligence tools like the social media. We provide data for all of the research purposes, like data how to make how to copy impressions, how to copy like good quality of advertisements, how to promote your game, which platform are the best in order to promote the game, locations, something like that. Even you are able to like monitor the movement of your competitors, so you can copy their ideas. And then there's the tools like uh, to track like the performances of your app. So you need to stay performed. Yeah. In terms of like mobile apps, you need to stay perform from that. What I'm trying to say is you need to be like stay educated, open to the market, like know the market, like go with the flows and comfort, like consider your options, like do research, learn, and then yeah, set your the best winning creative and marketing strategies from your companies. I believe that's all from my side.
Okay, Wilson, thank you. Yeah, uh, let's move to Damien. Yeah.
Yes, so as everyone mentioned, of course, the quality of IDFA is a I mean, you have fewer data points, so therefore you can no longer just rely on this. And of course, the challenges would be that it would become harder to rely on IDFA, and that you have to accept as well that you have to take different and new angles to target quality users. I'm going to talk on a more ASO perspective, but what we've seen at Aptweek in mobile gaming studios mainly is that they really started focusing more due to that IDFA depreciation to first manual improvement, and also try really to work on understanding better their user intent. So some of you have mentioned hyper personalization, try to get the last data point to understand where the user is coming from. But really on the ASO side, what we mean by the user intent is really understand the journey behind each users and in each download, and what makes them decide to download the game. For instance, if you are a Clash of Clans, let's say, being able to understand that some users download the game more for the battle aspect of the game, while others download the game more for the cooperation aspect or the team aspect, is really going to be crucial to help you segment those different audiences to catch really the intent. That's the first, and the second aspect also when we talk more about the manual improvement is the willingness of those gaming studios to increase their creatives quality and associate those creatives quality to each user segment and each user intent. So of course you can use AI to generate image faster, but at the core you really have to work on understanding that user intent to really better target them later with the right creatives. And for this, I think the challenge that will comes with it is really how you build those different targets how for each of these targets you associate the right channel to track them the right way, and how you also set up different goals to each channel to achieve your ultimate growth goals.
Okay, thank you, Damien. As you can see, like everyone face almost the same problem, right? A same challenge, but everyone will provide their own solution or own approach to face this, to solve this challenge. I think that's very excited to see what will happen next. Okay, let's move to the specific question. And this question, I think the best is for Romy. And the question is, in the light of the market changes and the increasing of instability of various advertising channels, how do you feel, Romy, the significance of UA platform diversifying, especially considering the challenges posed by this fluctuation?
Sure. I think, right, compared to 5 years ago, right now, many players outside of walled garden, already consolidated, but there are also some new players which is rely on AI and machine learning from the start of their business, coming in, right? So, right, I think right now, most of the advertising industry, especially, marketers and advertisers around me, they're very focused on what is called ROI-based advertising, or let's say return of ad spending, right? So how much dollar you spend, let's say you spend $1, how much money or revenue you're gonna get, right? And it's also different basis by business. So at this moment, when we talk about ROI based advertising, right? The buying method also different. It's not only right now only buying on impression, CPC, or only cost per install basis, but we're already talking about deeper funnel. So whatever app event that make a business is valuable. So for example, right, when we're talking about let's say gaming, when we talk about gaming, then it means when a user are buying some tools inside the game, right? Well, if we're talking about e-commerce, so whenever a user first time doing purchase, if we're talking about travel, whenever first time they are ordering a flight ticket or a hotel ticket. On top of that, it's not only it's not only talking about first time user, but also how to increase what is called user lifetime value. So for example, a user in a travel, right? He or she already booked a flight to Bali, for example, right? And then we can still nudge them and retarget them to book a hotel also. On top of that, we still also can target them again to book an experience in Bali, right? So in one user, the lifetime value will be higher, but as well as the average revenue per user will be higher. So I think right now, most of the marketers, especially who doing user acquisition, that will be the focus, in this year that I see. And for sure, for next year also, this will be still the trending, because I'm seeing a lot of marketers coming to me, right? Hey, can share it, can share it, help me to the user acquisition, but not only install, but user that actually valuable to them, that user that actually paying money to them, a user that actually can make the business sustainability. Because right now spend much, and then without very really looking at metrics of ROI, then the business will be not sustainable, especially for a new app developer that's coming to the market. Yeah, that's all from me, Julio.
Well, yeah, that's cool, Romy. Thank you for sharing. Okay, I have another question, but this question I think is for Damien. We already hear about App Store optimization. We already heard about user acquisition. Now, how do you think the relationship between the user acquisition and App Store optimization in the trend that strict of advertising policy on different platforms? Damien?
Yes, so first you have to understand that by nature, ASO and UA really are meant to work together, and ASO is really there to fuel your UA activities. ASO is that piece of puzzle you actually get between all your UA activities leading to the product page and the conversion of a visitors into a users. So they have to work together, and this is why it's crucial to have those so ASO and UA working together, but actually at multiple stage of your funnel. Just to give you an example, if you have a visitor coming from an ad network like Facebook or Instagram, actually you will have more chance to convert that visitors on your product page if the product page is optimized than if it's not. So therefore, this is where you see I have to put efforts on UA, but if you want to make sure that your UA efforts convert to your ultimate goal, which is basically downloads, you also need to optimize your ASO. So ASO and UA really complete each other really on the execution phase. And therefore, this is why it's also really important to report on ASO and UA and combine both together to have a more holistic view of your marketing activities and get the full picture really of these acquisition efforts. On the second hand, regarding the policies becoming more restrictive, I think we've discussed this a bit earlier, but really what will matter is the user context. And Joseph was mentioning mainly was mentioning that context is really important, and I really do agree on this. And again, being able to understand your users will really help you answer more precisely what the audience is looking for and is actually waiting for you. And in this regard, at Aptweek, what we really saw this year is the increasing adoption of CPPs and custom store listing in order to catch that quality audience based on their intent and not just based on kind of user lookalike criteria, as most of the marketing staff was doing it in the past. And when it comes to the adoption of CPPs and custom store listing, we also talking, and mainly for gaming, about the production of creatives that are going to really help you combine these UA activities and ASO to convert the users. And this is why the production of really personalized creative is really going to help you convert and make sure that the UA efforts are worth being done. So on top of that, I would say that both ASO and UA provide great different data points and insights for your marketing research. But another interesting point is when you think about that specific relationship that ASO and UA have, and how really ASO can help you better understand your users, and from the insights you get from it, how can you use them to find new users opportunity and eventually fuel your UA activities with those insights you get.
Okay, thank you, Damien, for the details explanation. Okay, let's move to the next specific question is for Wilson. Recognizing the pivotal role of the ads creative in game publishing, how do you assess the impact of different ads format on the user acquisition within the gaming industry?
All right, so it's about ads format. Yeah, when I refer to ad creative formats, the most popular is like videos, like ad cards, playable, and static display. Each of these like four formats actually have like a vital role in different environments, like in part of dispersed strategies. Yeah. What crucial here is you need to able to understand like the most effective creative format for each platform when you are running your acquisition campaigns. And another thing, when you do the testing of the creative, you need to get what feeling of success look like, you know. And because I have witnessed like teams spend weeks in testing them, and in reality they're like still far from the goal, and need to get back visited the concept stage, because you know that really plays a crucial role in determining the success of advertising campaign, because it helps to attract more clicks, generate higher engagement rates, and mostly leading to conversion. Yeah. So a lot of research needed to build better quality of ads. To, and we social media we are advertising intermediaries, you know, we give data for our users for them to make good quality of ads, and for research inside for the creative optimization and engagement marketing trends. So yeah, a lot of research need to be done to be able to know whether the type of format is suitable for this kind of platform, or suitable for this type of locations, or locations, things like that. And actually, yeah, the format is also like changing from time to time. I would like to share a little bit of fact about on our research in Q3 report. Really like the competition in the market in terms of mobile gaming market is so massive. Like, the growth were about 70% and over like 100K advertisers in 2023 with averaging of 170 creative per month. So they are making a lot of creative. And if you look at the creative types, it showed that different results from last year's. It was still dominated by the video type of creatives, but in quarter 3 2023, the impression of video creatives is actually like declining. Now it's less than 80%. Uh, Meanwhile, the other hand, like the impression of the image creative is increasing because of AIGC. Yeah. So yeah, we need to get engaged with the trends. Yeah. You'll know about impacts. Stuff like that. You'll need to dig up research. Yeah, to do research. Yeah. And for the uh, you know platform like Square Image Fit is still dominated by 800 at 600. Yeah. And for the video type, still being favorite for a short time videos under 30 seconds. Yeah. So yeah, you need to dig up information on data, do research to be able to know whether the formats are suitable for a certain kind of platform, suitable location. You need to do research, do an massive research for that. I believe that's all from me. Really.
Okay, well, interesting and very insightful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's move to Joseph. Since we're talking about the advertising campaign and UA, having a soft like Persona.ly's contribution to advertising campaign for numbers of game studio, could you share the practical cases and offer insight or maybe tips for achieving better outcome in user acquisition? Joseph?
Yeah, so thanks. I want to answer this for two different cases. I'll start off with like if you're an already established studio or developer, or even if you have like one strong game that you know you can run UA for. As soon as that happens, and even if it's one title, I suggest to do three things: diversify, figure out a way to measure incrementality, and do retargeting. In gaming, even though retargeting spend is significant, it's mostly driven by the bigger titles and the games that have been running for years. But when you're developing even a single title that has a content refreshed pretty frequently and you add stuff to it, more levels and more progress, it's money on the table. And I think that, it's not necessarily the first thought a UA team would have, because in some cases, UA and retargeting teams are split. But if you're a smaller team, but you have a successful title, I would look at that whenever we work with partners that are open to do that, leveraging the first party data and making that very profitable and driving UA forward is a no-brainer. Diversification is about, again, if you have a strong product, you can measure its performance quickly. When I grew up in ad tech, when I had a better hairline, you would be able to check marketing channels for $1,000 and have a good idea of their overall potential. That didn't change. The mentality changed, right? So I still suggest people to not to be too scared of cannibalization. There's so much inventory outside, and if you can measure incrementality, as I said before, it shouldn't really be a concern. And you can be surprised what different platforms can do, right? TikTok might not be great for you for whatever reason, but AI-driven DSPs could be. Retargeting on one platform can be horrible because you're in the middle of a feed, but retargeting in-app can be really good. So you have to be open to that, and you kind of still have to be patient when you're starting something off. You don't want to burn off stuff too quickly. When it comes to the smaller studios, the ones trying to push outwards, and get their first success, then diversification can be trickier, but it's still something to consider. The most thing would be about really nailing down the creative, like Wilson suggested, right? And obviously, the first thing you should do is copy homework from your competitors. So as soon as you figure that out, work together with your product team and find this balance that you're actually getting them users that inform their next decisions. So yeah, you have to be very agile as a UA manager in this time in the industry. You have to adapt to stuff, and you have to be transparent with your partners about what your goals are and all the information that you have. And still, as I said before, and I keep repeating this whenever I have the chance, get informed about how fraud works. Try to avoid it at all costs. That can mess up everything, including your KPIs. And unfortunately, especially in SCA and in APAC, we see this happening a lot. So if you're seeing that you have more clicks in a day than the population of the country where you're running the campaign, I would suspect whoever is running that. So really keep your eyes open. It's scary out there. It really is. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. Yeah, I think for you guys want to enhance your marketing campaigns, yeah, maybe I think this is the chance to get in touch with Joseph, or maybe go and try the to perform. Okay, next specific question for Carol. With Potato Place, focus on turning mobile games from Asia into the global hits, and duration of acquisition of the popular game called Merge Friends. And given your success in high downloads, could you elaborate on the merge game concept and delve into your marketing strategy for such kind of games? Yeah, Carol.
Yeah. So merge is a puzzle mechanic that is simple to grasp and has like immediate rewards for the players with the feeling of leveling up and feeling of progress and discovery of new items. So this mechanic has become pretty popular over the past few years. And when we started our publishing business, we actually managed to publish 2 successful Merge Idol games, Merge Quest and Merge Rush Z, which we brought from developers in China to the overseas market. So we wanted to capitalize on our early success by sourcing more Merge games with external developers, as well as develop our own game. So one of our focus has always been to use mechanics that are simple to grasp, but then use a meta gameplay that is also more deep for users who want like more from their game, and well, to improve our overall retention as well. So by specializing ourselves in merge games, we are able to build on our learnings and understand what creatives, channel strategies work and don't work for us, right? Right now we have 4 merge games in our portfolio, and we are working on the next one as well. And we were able to cross-reference what performs for a particular game, what's not performing for another one, and it really gave us that positive feedback loop of and it's what's allowing us to continue growing our portfolio and our DAU. When it comes to merge games in particular, so the competition has definitely been growing fiercer, as well as like any gameplay. I think that's become popular. So what's been working for us is also addressing different types of audiences with our different merch titles, right? Our merch titles, we have we have 2 that are more in the idle categories, and we have 2 that are more in the management and resource management categories. So because of different art style, different meta gameplay, we were able to attract different kind of audiences. Some are more female oriented, some are more male oriented, and that's what allowing us to continue to grow our DAU across the portfolio.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Carol, for your explanation. And yeah, I think we are very close to the end of the webinar, but we will have a Q&A question. Before that, yeah, we have some last question for all of the panelists. Yeah, I will start from Damien. Damien, as we look ahead to 2024, what single piece of advice would you offer for advancing our UA career in the coming year?
So as we don't have a lot of time, I'm going really to cut this short. But really, my advice would be take the time to strategize your game the right way, and at the right speed. Spend more time on understanding your audience and how you can answer the needs. And again, try to focus on the user intent through keywords, through really why they convert. And of course, with the rise of AI that we see, try to leverage the right tools available, but just for the right purposes.
Okay, what a nice advice. Okay, let's go next. Let's go to Romy, please.
Sure. So my advice for the UA career in the coming year, basically, number one is focus on two keywords. One is ROI focus, and second is sustainability. And how to achieve that, right? So, and as a UA manager, it has to be measure every metrics and every touch points of a user. When you're running user acquisition, either it's ISO, either it's paid media, you need to each of the user journey, it has to be measured, starting from view the ads, click, and then install until action inside the app. It has to be measured. The reason why, by you measuring that, it able to it able to know in which step is the problem, and improve that, so the conversion rate of a user can be higher, which means the user acquisition cost can be cheaper, and the ROI can be higher, right? And that's point number one. Point number two, experiment everything before you scale. So what I mean by this, understand your user, start, building the audience, building the segments, test everything, including the creative itself for sure. And of course, using AI generative content will be great. So it saves your time and can be also personalized. So use all of these aspects and experiment everything, so you know which audience, which segments, at what creative, the ROI will be high, and keep experimenting. The last but not least, that if all this metric is already measurable and is its ROI positive, then you can scale. That will be my advice.
Focus on ROI and experiment everything. Thank you, Romy. Okay, next, let's move to Carol, please. Yeah. Sorry, Carol, still mute.
Sorry. Yeah. My advice, well, is going to sound pretty similar, but generally, I think as a UA manager, you have to focus on where you can have the biggest impact, and keep learning and keep testing. I think creative optimization generally is where everyone still can like differentiate themselves and also can see the greatest impact. Generally, there is going to be a lot of uncertainty. There is going to be a lot of mixed signals when you analyze your campaigns. There is going to be a lot of like difficulty actually analyzing what's making an impact and what is not. But I think everyone is struggling with the same issues. So everyone has a chance to make it work. There is no perfect solution, and like you need to keep experimenting to figure out what works for you.
Okay, thanks for the advice, Carol. Yeah, still the same. Keep experimenting, guys. Okay, let's move to Wilson. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So a little bit advice from myself. Yeah, we need to stay educated, of course. Yeah, open our eyes to technologies. We need tools out there like AI or other platforms to measure the performances of your game, of your creative, something like that. Keep like tracking your competitors, or even for like an early stage for maybe studios developers, early stage or startups, you need to do research on for like the big players out there, like what their marketing strategies. You copy their ideas and you put it to your own. Know what their marketing strategies were to put their platform, what kind of creative they made. So, even like the big player out there is still spying on the movement of their competitor to get advantages in the market. So yeah, you need to do a lot of things like that. I believe that's all been covered by the other panelists.
Yeah. But it's also a good advice. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Next go the last for Joseph. Yeah, please, Joseph.
Yeah,
what's
sure.
your advice?
So my advice for a UA manager in 2024 is to get a helmet because it's going to be a bumpy ride, like every year in UA, but even more this year. But jokes aside, we all speak about AI all the time. I speak about it more than others because it's my day job. But you shouldn't just disconnect yourself completely from this technology and just accept its outputs. You need to kind of understand how it works. And it's pretty, it makes sense. It's common sense. It's trying to replicate what you would be doing as a human if you had the capacity to do everything as quickly as the machine can. That's it. It's not creating anything magical. It's just trying to do the best it can with what it knows. So trying to understand what happens in all these UA channels that leverage AI, like us or like Meta or whoever, can help. Like, you shouldn't limit yourself as a UA manager to just looking at the outputs. You should understand what should change about the inputs, meaning how the creative should change, how maybe your product is lagging behind when it comes to the features that it offers to users or the content. You need to leverage tools like machine learning to do that. Like a single person with language models, with GPT, can do market research by himself, see what his competitors are doing, understand if there's anything really different that's happening, and even analyze his data without waiting for the BI guy, like you usually do. So you should not just be educated, you should practice these things. And you can, because the tools are out there. I can't write code at all, really. Let's say my SQL capabilities are limited. With things like ChatGPT, I'm a strong analyst, so anyone can do that, really. So I really, especially to UA people that in some cases are used to just saying, hey, channel A, improve your results. Be better than that. Try to understand what's holding them back. Try to understand what's going on, and that way you can just deliver more value to your company and, grow. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Joseph, for the advice. So leveraging the AI and machine learning is the must on the next year, right? Okay, so let's move to the Q&A session, and I see there's one question from our audience. And okay, I will please, maybe admin can bring up the question to the screen. Or yeah, I will read it. AI seems to be the main buzzword, but what do you all think about Web3 mobile gaming? After Axie Infinity, we have not seen another that is able to take its place. Maybe Joseph, what's your opinion? Yeah.
So the way I see it, Web3 and most than anything in mobile games, NFTs shouldn't be the appeal. It should be a feature, and I believe it would be in someday. Technically, it already was in Diablo 2, where you had a marketplace and you can buy unique, items and then resell them. I think if you build your entire game and it's just based on trying to sell people some, pardon my French, so I won't say it, some crappy coin, or trying to generate money from gameplay always is not always going to work. Sometimes it will. In most cases, it probably won't. You need to build a good game, and then you can leverage this technology of the blockchain to create these unique experiences. So right now, in places like Fortnite, there's going to be an Eminem concert like in a week or something, which is insane, right? Think about it. If one person that day gets a unique Eminem related content piece, he just gets it randomly, right? He can become a celebrity the next day, right? You can do that with mobile games as well. Obviously, it's a smaller scope, and you should. You can create some sort of marketplace inside your game. In mobile, it's probably a bit too early because you're so focused on the freemium aspect and basically getting the low percentage of users that pay you to pay as much as possible. So you can create these like things that affect the balance of the game. But over time, you will be able to do this. So I think we're going to see NFTs working that way at some point, just not being the main appeal. It just feels like a scam at this point because of all the things that happen. Just too late for that, I think.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. I think that will be the best answer for this question. And okay, well, I think we are on the end of this webinar. And before I close, because we have giveaway, right, for the Amazon card for 3 audience, and because only one person give the question, and the Jeremy will be automatically the first person who get the giveaway. And then the other 2, maybe we will choose from the question that they give on the registration. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for all of the attendees, and also especially for the panelists. All of you guys are really very insightful for me. And thank you. See you again. Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much. See you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Have a nice day.
Have a great day, guys.